Yo, what's going on, guys? Alex here, and today I'm going to be showing you how to spool up your casting reel. Now, I had a lot of good feedback on how to spool the spinning reel, so I figured I'd show you guys how to do the casting reel as well. It's super simple, super easy. We're going to use a lot of the same tips and tricks that we used for spooling the spinning reel, translate those over to the casting reel, and we're going to get it done. Alright, so let's get right into it here. I'm actually going to be using a little bit of a different method today. I'm going to be using the Berkley spooling station here. Now, the reason that this is really cool is because it makes everything super easy. You can actually lock your casting reel in right here, put your spool down there, and give it tension all at the same time so that you can do this all by yourself. If you don't have this station, obviously there's no problem there. You can just get somebody to put a pencil through the spool here, hold it with a little bit of tension, and it's going to work just the same as you hold your reel. But if you want to do it by yourself, something like this is really cool. There are also DIYs out there on YouTube where you can look up how to build something like this without having to buy it. But if you are interested in buying this, I'm obviously going to put the link down in the description. I think it's like 30 bucks for the spooling station, but it's really cool tool to be able to use for this. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it and show you how to use this thing. All right, so all I'm going to need for this is a casting reel, the line that you want to put on your spool, the spooling station, or whatever method you decided to go with. So obviously the first thing you're going to want to do is attach your casting reel to the spooling station itself. Super simple. It's just going to slide right in here like it would on your actual rod itself, and then you're going to tighten it up here. So I'm going to loosen this up, slide this in here, get it to lay down flat, and then tighten that onto the spooling station so that won't go anywhere there. We're nice and set up. So the next thing you want to do is you're going to want to put the line onto the spooling station itself, and I'll go ahead and show you that. Alright, so this line is going to go on this rod back here in the back, and then we're going to attach it with this springy attachment here, which is going to keep pressure on the spool so that our line comes on nice and tight. Before we can do that, we have to figure out which direction we want this line to come off of the spool. And the way you figure that out is you look at your reel here, you see which direction that's going. When I'm reeling, that spool is spinning this way. Now we want the same thing to happen with our line here, so we have to figure out which direction that's happening. Now if I look at my line here and it's coming off the top, look which direction that's going onto that spool. That's that same motion we were talking about with here. So if I spin this way, it's coming this way. If it's going onto the spool here, it's going the same direction. Now that means that we're doing that correctly. So the line's coming off the top here, that's how we want to attach it to the rod. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're just going to attach our line to the rod here, take our little springy mechanism here, push that on, give it some tension, and then tighten up this little screw. So that's going to make that nice and tight coming off of there, and that's going to make our line go onto the reel a lot smoother. Alright, so now let's figure out how to get the line onto our casting reel here, which most people already know. Super simple. You're just going to go through the eye here that is on front of all casting reels, and I'm going to take my line right here. Now I've got a little trick actually to get this to go, because I want this line to go under that spool there. I want it to go underneath. And now obviously, like, getting my fat fingers in there is going to be a little bit hard, so I've got a little trick here. So I'm going to disengage the reel to allow it to spin the other direction, and I'm going to stick it in one of these little holes that's in the reel here. As you can see, these little holes, I'm going to stick it in one of those, and I'm actually going to spin that reel backwards, and as that reel spins backwards, it pulls it through to the other side, which is a really neat trick. Alright, so once we've got our line pulled from underneath the casting reel, I'm going to stick my finger in here and grab out the other side here. Now, with some casting reels, it's going to be a little bit harder to get your finger inside there. You can just use something like a little tool or something just to reach in there and grab it. So now I've got one side here that I've pulled a little bit of extra line out on, and then the main tag end here. So on the tag end, I'm going to release the other side for a second. On the tag end, I just want to tie a little overhand knot right near the top there. Give you about 1 inch or 2 of extra space. So now I've got a little overhand knot there on that side. So I'm going to take that other side here that we pulled through. Like I said, I just pulled some extra line through, so make sure you've got the side that's actually attached to your tag end here. And when you do, you're going to take this line and you're going to go around the main line, take your tag line, go around the main line, and that's going to create a loop here. So once you've pinched that right there, you're going to take the tag end and go through that loop, and make sure that your little overhand knot you tied earlier comes out the other side. You can see it right there. Make sure it comes out the other side, and that's going to tighten up for a little knot there. Now what you're going to want to do now is you're going to want to wet this whole tag end, because you're going to be cinching it down, so you want to wet all of that to make sure that it's not going to rub on the line and cause twist. After you've wet it, you should be able to cinch it down pretty easily here. Oop. Cinched it down all the way there. Then you want to cut off your excess line. Alright, so after I've cut that tag in there, pull the remaining back through, and you're ready to start spooling. Alright, and so now that we're ready to start spooling, all we're going to do is make sure that that line's coming on nice and tight. I usually like to guide it with my thumbs and forefinger, make sure it's going all the way back and forth. Make sure you get a nice even distribution of line. And as you can see, even if I let go, that line is nice and tight. That's the advantage of this Berkley spooling station. And like I said, if you have somebody else, you just get a pencil, stick it through, and have somebody else hold it tight. I'm gonna go ahead and finish spooling up the rest of this line, and we'll show you what it looks like afterwards. Alright, so we've gotten to the last bit here. I'm going to show you what it looks like on the inside there. I'm going to leave about this much. I believe that's about 1/4 to 1/8 of an inch. I like to leave just a little bit of extra on the inside, especially when I'm using monofilament, because monofilament does like to backlash just a little bit on occasions, so I like to give myself a little bit of wiggle room to work with there. If you want to, you can go further. If you're using braided line, you can go a little bit further even more. It just depends on what your preference is. Find out what you like. I like to leave a little bit of extra. That's just my personal preference. And after that, you're pretty much done, guys. I've got the line spooled up here. I'm just going to cut this line and we'll be good to go. Alright guys, and that's pretty much all you do. That's how you spool up a casting reel. If you guys enjoyed this video, smash that like button. I would really appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel for more videos, more tutorials, more fishing coming. And always remember, guys, a bad day fishing is better than a good day anywhere else. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Catch you later.